So I'm super excited to be here today, and I want to share with you some work we're doing around what we call closing the AI innovation gap. What we see when we talk to companies repeatedly is data science teams come up with ideas no one wants. Design teams come up with ideas that can't be built. That is the gap. Can we come up with ideas that can be built that people want is what we're trying to do, and how do we get better at this? So there's a lot of hype right now. There's a lot of, data's the new oil, AI's the new electricity. That's the hype, but this is kind of the dark side. Currently, 85% of projects fail. And when I say fail, I mean fail to deploy. I'm not talking about all the ones that fail after deployment. Just getting from an idea to a deployed system, we really suck at. And so to me, this is a super interesting space to work, because if it's 85% bad, then I can maybe make it better. What my team's also seen is a lot of what we call missed low-hanging fruit. Opportunities where just really simple, easy AI would make things better, both for service providers and for customers. And we're very curious, like, why? The first problem we're seeing is when companies try to do AI innovation, they often choose things that are super, super difficult. And I'm going to blame the media. It's all creating this illusion that AI is a superhuman intelligence, and that causes people who are trying to follow user-centered design methods. So you have a data science team talking to domain experts, what do you want? And they focus on their greatest uncertainty. If I had a super intelligent human, what would I want to do? So their search of the opportunity space just really looks at very hard problems where we need super amazing model performance to deliver value to people. And the majority of the action space remains unexplored. So IBM's done fabulous work in this area, really analyzing their own teams and writing about it. And they note that data scientists are explorers. They're really looking for relationships in the data, but they are treated like engineers, where they're given a spec at the beginning of a Scrum sprint and expected to deliver on that. And that's just not going to happen. Finally, I'll add, design is really just either uninvited or unprepared to innovate in this space. So I would describe this like my experiences of doing interfaces in the 1980s, where designers are brought on after all the decisions are made and like, can you just make this pretty? And it's still very lipstick on the pig. Design teams only come in after applications have been selected. I like to, when I think of ideation, I really draw from Donald Schoen's idea of reflection and action, and he uses the metaphor of a jazz musician who knows their instrument so well, they understand kind of the materiality, they can simply create music while playing. Designers have not internalized the material capabilities so well that they can simply imagine what it can do. We are a long way from that. In addition, AI makes it super hard for us to do it, because what designers really want are the capabilities, the what can it do, but all of the discourse on AI is about mechanisms. How does it make an inference? Not what are the inferences it can make. Brainstorming. Brainstorming is the problem in this case. So brainstorming, one of the common rules is don't put limits on yourself. Go with wild ideas. The problem with AI is we keep thinking of things it can't do. We actually need to lower our expectations. Think of the dumber things it can do. When we see design teams ideate, what we consistently see is they come up with ideas where there's high uncertainty that a capability can be delivered, and there's high output complexity, which means it's super hard to think through all of the different ways this can go wrong. So they really push towards invention and not at all innovation. Designers really aren't prepared. They need better data skills, and they need to have a material understanding of AI capabilities. And we're proposing that that design would be helpful if it really facilitated ideation between domain experts and data scientists based on what we know AI is good at doing, not based on the most difficult tasks where humans have needs. So we're going to stay in kind of AI's sweet spot. And how can we keep design involved, not just in that early stage ideation, we want to see it there, but actually moving along in a Scrum process, and particularly when you're contemplating a pivot, which we think generally just doesn't happen. So companies are committed to Agile, but they're really just doing waterfall in tiny little bites. They don't effectively pivot by doing customer discovery. All right, enough from me. Thank you.
You said that designers need more data capabilities and they need to understand it better, what it is, what it can do, what the constraints are. What do you think should be implemented in curricula across the world to get this capability?
Look at particularly craftspeople that gain a great material understanding, and let's say we're just going to explore all of the different ways people have leveraged this and talk about the strengths and benefits of those different materials. Obviously, we don't have a shop to send students to cut up AI. It doesn't work like that, but there are an increasing number of no-code, low-code tools to get a sense of what's possible. But the other part is to really do critiques of systems that are in the world and to review, hundreds of, not like we're going to talk about 2 or 3.
We've been thinking about potentially using AI to help design processes.
Like the way to do that is to resist the urge to focus on the most uncertain parts of design and thinking that AI is going to help you there, and instead look at what is the absolutely most tedious, time-consuming thing where people perform with tremendous consistency. That's where AI is going to help. If we're going to use AI in industrial design, maybe it should be sanding, right? That's not rocket science. Trying to sense when something's done. I think there's a lot of interesting things to do there. But to me, the first and easiest action space, and we think of this in healthcare, when you train a decision support system, in healthcare, it's really good with textbook cases because that is literally what almost every case is. That is nowhere near where a doctor needs help.